All right, we're going to go ahead in 3, 2, 1. You're on the air.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, Councilman Borelli, would you lead us in the pledge? Would everybody please rise?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for a moment to remember all our servicemen serving away from their families. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for attending this evening's Town Board meeting, and thank you all at home for watching. Tonight's meeting is a Town Board work session, and the date is Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. Prior to coming out here for the public portion of the meeting, the Town Board met in executive session at 6 p.m. Councilman Borelli and Channel gave an update to the Town Board on PBA contract negotiations. Then Councilman Lombardi and Channel updated the Town Board on IBTA contract negotiations. Greg Fulchetti, Town Council, met with the board to consider a proposal for certiorari litigation. So those were the three items that we covered in an executive session at 6 p.m. So for tonight's Town Board work session, we have 13 items tonight, and with us we have Chief Hoffman is here for his item. Jimmy Gilchrist, Parks and Recreation Director, is here. I'll be covering Mary Ann Maxwell's item and Mike Simone's Highway Department item as well. So for the record, all Town Board members are present with us this evening, as is our Town Council, Greg Fulchetti, all the way over to my left. So the first item on the agenda tonight is a review of the Town Board minutes of March 17th of 2021. Does any Town Board members have any comments for the March 17th meeting? You can make those comments at this time. If not, we'll move on. We're good? Okay, so item number one on this evening's work session is a letter from Putnam County Executive Mary Ellen Odell to consider request to waive sound amplification permit fees per Chapter 104 of the Town Code for Putnam County Golf Course. These are for the Friday night barbecues commencing June 4th through October 1st of 2021. We have a letter here from County Executive Odell. Dear Supervisor Schmidt, I am writing to once again formally request that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel consider the waiver for the provisions of Chapter 104 of its Town Code, which require that permit be acquired for the use and operation of sound devices and equipment at the Putnam County Golf Course in connection with its Friday night barbecues. I know that the continued success of this county-owned course is of paramount importance to all of us, and that the taxpayers of Putnam County are ultimate beneficiaries of this golf and banquet facility. The waiver of the permit requirement, along with the requirement that the county pay a fee for such a permit, will obviously assist the county in becoming as successful as possible in its endeavor to provide enhanced services to its residents. Thank you for consideration and cooperation. Mary Ellen Odell, County Executive. So we've done this probably for the past, 4 years, Greg? 5 or 6 years. We've waived the amplification permit fee of Chapter 104. So unless any Town Board members have any comments with respect to her request, we'll go ahead and waive it.
Yeah, but I've always said it. How much is it?
$150?
I mean, it's insane. It's such a minor
It's a small
thing.
amount.
Just to come and ask us to waive it and go through the paperwork of doing it, it costs us more than $150.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
yeah, we're going to waive it, but it's just an insane.
Yeah, it's a small number, right. So, Bob,
Nope, I'm good.
you go with it? Susie?
I'm fine.
Frank?
Yep.
Good with it? Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm good with it also. All right, so Greg, you'll prepare a resolution for that? Okay, next item, Councilman Frank Lombardi, consider request to authorize property maintenance cleanup per the Town of Carmel Town Code, 114-15, tax map number 76.17-1-28. Frank, you want to take this?
Yeah, I had spoken about this last week and several months ago, that there's a property on 200 Union Valley Road, which is right before you get to Tea Kettle Spout Lake, on a curvature, which Kenny, I understand, used to be an old auto
It was a junkyard.
junkyard.
The parent
Yeah,
junkyard.
well, even though people still think it's a junkyard now, and those residents, including myself and many, many others who travel along Union Valley Road, have to see, there's a king-size mattress there, there's a washing machine, there's a very, very nice set of pink upholstered couch and love seat. So anybody needs one, feel free to go get it. But in any event, in all seriousness, I spoke to the chief, I spoke to Mike Carnaza, and we've come up with a plan under our code to regard to having that area cleaned up. And we'd also be placing obstacles in the way. So in the future, if you ever drive by it, actually, there's a little bit of a kind of a driveway there. You can go in one way, throw the stuff off the back, and go out the other way. So we're going to prevent that in the future. And the chief has made some suggestions with regard to surveillance in that area as well, which we're going to do as well. So this is something that we've done with some other zombie properties, Kenny, and we're using the same statute to clean up this property here. And this way it doesn't have to be a blight on those who drive on Union Valley Road to see this. It's not a junkyard any longer. It's a vacant property that's, I guess the county owns it now, Kenny, based on tax liens?
I don't believe the county has taken it over.
Okay.
You know, formally have taken it over as
Right, well, there's tax liens on it, from what I
Yes.
understand, with regard to the county, and nobody actually wants to take it over or have responsibility for it.
Right.
So it's not a zombie property in terms of, we're not going to be cutting down weeds, we're going to be removing garbage. And shame on, and then, you know, we're going to stiffen the penalties for dumping in the town of Carmel. That's step 2. So this is just a recommendation to authorize Mike to go out and get bids to remove the debris on the property and install boulders and a gate or a cable across it so that others will not be able to dump on that property.
Okay. All right, just to give a little background on this property, Frank, it was the parent junkyard. It's an auto recycling and auto junkyard for probably 35 or 40 years, or maybe longer than that. It was also the subject of a New York State DEC Superfund cleanup site, where there was contamination levels on that entire site. There was over 2 million tires that were buried on that site at one point, buried underground. So they were removed by the New York State DEC. So they were taken out of there, and the issues are that the soil underneath the ground there is potentially contaminated, hazardous soil, with antifreeze, oils, transmission fluids, any fluids from a vehicle evidently seeped into the ground, into the soil there, and there's concerns about the extent of the soil that's contaminated. That's why that property has sat for many, many years. The county does not want to take it over as ownership of that property, because if they assume the ownership of it, then they take on what's underneath the ground, what's in the soil. So nobody wants to touch it. They don't want to go near it. It's still listed as the New York State DEC. It has a spill number assigned to it from the DEC for the Superfund cleanup site. So a lot of tires were removed from there. I think most of them were. But the soil underneath the ground is still potentially contaminated from those fluids over the years that probably just were dumped on the ground, to be honest with you. So that's the history behind the parent junkyard. Really, there's tax liens on it, so technically the property is just sitting there right now with no ownership. The previous owner wants nothing to do with it. The county wants nothing to do with it. And the town wants nothing to do with it, other than what you're doing, you know, keeping it from becoming a dump site, you know, a dumping ground for people just depositing there.
Listen, I walked that site last week, and, I mean, there's some really, really old stone buildings on it, which, I mean, really, if you're into photography, I think that'd be a great location, and it goes up an incline, and it overlooks an entire wooded area. I mean, it's really, really an unbelievable site, and how many acres is that? Like 15?
16.
16 acres. I mean, it's, you know, it's a shame that we couldn't use.
Could be a beautiful,
Yeah.
It's a shame that it couldn't be, well, because of the ground contamination, I'm not going to suggest that anybody take it over or use it as a parkland, but it is a really beautiful area. But we don't need to see garbage dumped in the town of Carmel.
No. No, Frank, and I appreciate you being proactive with that and following up on it with the PD, with the building department, having it cleaned up, and
Chief came up with some good suggestions. We're gonna move on them.
Is it possible to post with no trespassing? Or at least in the spot where they're dumping
They
on?
will not be, it would be very difficult for you to trespass after we do what we want to do to it.
Just that
With the
it also raises the offense, the priority of the offense if it's posted with no trespassing, or if there's a fence on it. It's a more serious offense than just dumping,
Yeah,
in addition to dumping trespassing.
Yeah.
Just another deterrent.
There's a lot of huge boulders on the property, which we're going to be moving in front of the driveway, so cars can't get onto it.
you can't, no. But Bob, the problem with that is you can post it, no trespassing, but who would the complainant be? If
It'd have
someone
to be
was
the town of Carmody. I don't know if the town
If they're
has
dumping,
the
they're
authority.
dumping. Obviously, you could be written as, but if they're trespassing, the property owner generally would be the complainant on an information for trespassing. But
Right.
in this case,
That's what I'm asking.
the parent family cannot be found anywhere. So there's no family members that can actually come forward and sign an information. So that's part of the problem is it could be posted as a deterrent to keep people from entering the property, but as far as legally, Greg, am I right? You would need a complainant, correct?
Property is still owned by the estate of David W. Parent.
Right.
Best of my knowledge, last time we investigated it a couple of years ago when there was an issue that arose out there with a private use on the property. But yeah, there's a standing issue for a trespass complaint. Even if you were to post it, it would be unenforceable by a party that doesn't have a property interest. So could it have a deterrent effect? I'm hoping what Councilman Bard is suggesting has a deterrent effect as well, and you won't have to go that far.
Okay.
So-
All right, great. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to the next item, number 3, Police Chief Anthony Hoffman. Consider request to authorize purchase of a police vehicle. This is a 2021 Ford Explorer Interceptor SUV hybrid. Chief, can you just come on over here?
Thank you, Supervisor Schmidt, members of the board, Mr. Fulchetti. Before you, I have a request for a purchase of a second Ford Interceptor SUV hybrid for the Town of Carmel Police Department. At the previous board meeting, we had one up on a request. I would like to ask for a second one in order to fully test them. This one would be for patrol. The first one would be to test in an administrative role, and then with an eye towards putting it towards traffic enforcement. Much like the first request, we'd like to use the Westchester County contract that does allow piggybacking. It is a pretty sizable contract. It's in use by, obviously, Westchester County. Nassau County has a very large department with hundreds of vehicles. I've done some research on this. Rockland County has a similar vehicle contract, but it's not as lucrative. This one is better as far as our needs. The contract meets our procurement policy. And as far as the vehicle that we're looking for, the cost is going to be $40,463 and 30 cents. It's within our budget for vehicles for the remainder of 2021. So in addition to the cost of the vehicle, there is going to be some upfit, which I've been in contact with Mary Ann Maxwell to arrange some further monies for that. So I request for the purchase of this vehicle.
Okay, all right, thanks, Chief. Yeah, I think this is great that we're going to the hybrid cars because, reducing the carbon footprint is always good when you're able to do that, and these will be much more efficient. They'll be less costly than the full gas vehicles, motors. So I think this is great, and it's proven other municipalities have purchased these hybrid Explorers, and they seem to be very happy with them.
Yeah.
They're satisfied. Yorktown did purchase one, I think at least one for now, and your former department, the town of Mamaroneck, I
Yes.
believe they have some in use as well, and they're satisfied with them.
Yes.
They're happy with them. So I think this is good that we're going in this direction with our cars, so I think it's great. Any other comments for the
I
chief
think
on
it's a
this
good
item?
idea, yeah.
As long as it's within the budget, Chief.
Absolutely.
It's in the budget.
Yeah.
It's great. Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda, number 4, Mary Ann Maxwell, Town Controller. Mary Ann could not be with us tonight, so I'm going to handle Mary Ann's item. This is to consider a request to accept a proposal for pricing fee schedule for credit card payments for the water billing department in the Comptroller's office. So I think this is positive that residents will be able to pay for their water bills now by use of a credit card. So the company that Mary Ann is recommending is Forte. It's a CSG company. This is the pricing fee schedule for the Town of Carmel Water Department. CSG Forte is proud to provide a robust processing platform and flexible pricing strategies. The service fee model, in a service fee model approach, the citizen pays a service fee for processing their transaction. Your office absorbs. There's no cost to the Comptroller's office for this. The resident would pay for the cost of it. And if they use a credit card, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, or American Express cards, there is a 2.45% of the payment amount with a maximum fee of $1.75, whichever is greater. So if they use e-checks or if they pay it by credit card's 2.45, and if they use an e-check, it's $1.75 for that. So Mary Ann is recommending that the town board approve this for the use in the water department. It'll make things a lot easier, and the residents will be able to pay their transaction for their water bill by use of their credit card, which they currently can't do. So most other departments already have transitioned over to allowing for credit card payments, but the water department in the Comptroller's office has not yet. So this will make it a lot easier for the residents, and it'll make it more efficient for us to process the water bills at the same time. So I think this is great, and I thank Mary Ann for bringing this forward to the town board. Is there a request?
Kenny, is this the same company with regard to, that we use for the property taxes and the tax assessors? And tax?
Yes, it is. Yep. Yep. So the fees are the same.
Okay.
This is regular fee. Any questions on this? Frank, Mike?
No.
No? Bob, Susie, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, so Greg, you'll do a resolution for the 21st? Okay. So next item on the agenda, number 5, Rich Franzetti, PE Town Engineer, consider request to acknowledge emergency payment for repairs and services for Carmel Sewer District Number 1, 2, and 4, and Carmel District Water District Number 2. Rich?
Good evening, everyone. So the memorandum is being presented to the board to advise of emergency invoices submitted in payment of excess of $10,000 for services rendered. Carmel Sewer District 4, RBC Unit Number 2 bearing on January 26th, Infomark, the operator of Carmel Sewer District 4, alerted the engineering department that the rotating biological contact RBC Unit Number 2 is out of service due to a failed bearing. For the shaft that turns the RBC, attaches an invoice in the amount of $15,500 to replace the bearing and make repairs to the shaft at that location. It was deemed emergency as the RBC treat wastewater for ammonia. The loss of the unit could cause potential compliance issues, which could cause the town to be in violation of the Speedies permit. Carmel Water 2, emergency repair to water main at Lake Oneida Shore. On March 23rd, Ed Cook performed a repair at the lake shore of Lake Oneida. The attached invoice in $10,188.40 from Carmel Wind Water Works was for the equipment needed necessary for the repair. Carmel Sewer Districts 1, 2, and 4 jetting services. On March 8th, 2021, Infomark, the operator of those districts, alerted the engineering department that TAM Enterprise was called to clean the White Sail, Putnam Plaza, and Kelly Road, Lakeshore, and Underhill pump stations. The request was made due to excessive rags. There are invoices in the amounts of $2,803.55, $5,607 and $10 twice, for a total of $14,017.75 for these services. That's what I have for you with that one.
Okay. Just so the public understands, we, on the second item, Rich, Carmel Water 2, emergency repair to water main at Lake Oneida Shore. This is where the main runs under Route 6. It actually passes under Route 6 from Willow Road. And where it comes out on the shoreline of Lake Oneida, there was an issue with the water main itself, that they had to access through the shoreline of Lake Oneida to get to the water main. But this is the main that crosses the street. It's in a loop, the way the water main system works up in the hamlet of Carmel, and this is where it loops under Route 6 and then services the properties on Glenida Ridge Road and Glenview Road.
Right, it goes up through what we call the Whipple property. I don't know what else it was called. It was called something else prior to that.
Perchetta property.
Thank you. So it goes through the backyard of that property, from Willow, underneath Route 6, through the backyard of that property, back up to Glenida Ridge. So it's that loop that was, had some leaks on it,
Yeah.
so.
All right, and that, they accessed it through the Glenida Lakeshore property to get to it.
We had to deal with the DEP. We actually had the DEP do tree cutting because it was on their lake. There was a lot of different things going on in that.
Okay,
Rich, would-
any questions?
Yeah, Rich, with the bearing on Carmel Sewer District number 4,
Right?
how long do they last? Do you know, is that something, a piece of equipment that lasts?
So it should probably last 10 to 15 years. I don't know if that was in there at all, but I'd have to confirm that. But they do last quite a long time. Again, what the RBCs are, there's a shaft, and there's these big tumblers around them, right? Those things have algal growth on them or biological growth on them. Half of it's always submerged in water, so it's always pushing through water.
Okay,
The biological activity occurs in both places, both in the water and then when it's to the air. But those things are very heavy, so when it's turning that's why these shafts and bearings can go on these units. It depends on the use, it depends on how much it's going. So, but in this case, they should last about that long.
and we don't know, do we know how long this one was in there for, or no?
I don't know. I'd have to
Okay.
double check that. I can
All
get
right.
back to the board on that.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on this item, the engineer? No. Okay, Rich, why don't you go on to number 6? This is a review of the annual MS4 draft report.
Excuse me. Okay. As the board is aware, the town is Carmel is an MS4 community. That's a municipal separate storm sewer community. That's the 4 S's. As such, we are required to develop and submit an annual report to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, State Pollution Discharge Elimination System General Permit for stormwater discharges from MS4s, is also known as GP 0-15-003. Every year we have to, for the board's consideration, it's a draft MS4 report. The draft report will be placed on the Town of Carmel webpage tomorrow and will be posted for comment period for at least 30 days before making final. The final MS4 report is due on June 1st of any given year. Given the voting schedule in May, we respectfully request that if there are no comments made to the draft document, that the report be considered final, signed by the supervisor, and submitted to the DEC in a timely fashion. The copy of the final document will be placed on the Town of Carmel webpage.
Perfect.
Okay, thanks.
We go through this process every year,
Every year.
unfortunately, and then we do it again in October, because there's a semi-annual report.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on this item for the engineer?
No,
No? Okay, that's it. So what I'm going to do is, I see that members of the Lake Park District are here. So rather than waiting for Jimmy Gilchrist reports that he's going to be giving us and his agenda items, I'm going to move, Compton, I'm going to move you up on the agenda. If that's, this way you don't have to, you can present your item and then if you want to stay, you can stay or you guys can leave. It's up
Is
to
that a
you.
reflection on Jimmy Gilchrist's
Yes, it is.
longevity
Yeah, sorry,
and
Jimmy,
breadth
but-
of talking?
So item number 11, agenda item 11, the Lake Mahopac Park District Advisory Board. They're here to consider a request to accept a proposal for the retainage of legal services.
Yes,
So-
I think you've all received the resume for John Cherico.
Compton, just come up to
Compton,
the
yeah,
microphone, yes.
I think you've all received a copy of the resume for John Cherico. He is here with us tonight.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
My thoughts to anyone that wanted to know anything about John was just to ask someone like Judge Fulchetti or either of our town judges what they think of Mr. Cherico, and I think you'd find that he's held in very, very high regard. We, as you know, the lake is, we're very involved with New York State, and we would like to retain John to look into a lot of issues regarding the lake relative to the state. And a lot of the issues relative to the lake have been dealt with elsewhere, Lake George, Finger Lakes throughout. There's a lot of statutory work that's been done in Albany relative to various lakes, and we'd like to collect this information. We don't anticipate John coming to any meetings. We anticipate him doing work outside of our group. I'm certainly going to assist him, as will my brother, who I know has always been very interested and was on the board long ago, as well as we have Robert Frankel, who's an attorney as well. So we're going to assist him and just see if we can come up with some ideas and some things that have been done elsewhere to better the lake. And we'll certainly present all that. We're an advisory board. We're not making decisions on our own. You're the ultimate decision makers. But I think it would help. We all grew up here, Kenny. I mean, I was with you as a kid. We know how the lake has changed, and some of these issues have to be addressed sooner than later. So anyway, that's kind of the situation. I don't know if you have any questions for John or myself.
Compton, the only, and we had discussed this at a couple of our meetings. I have no issue with being counsel to the Lake Board, but in the letter, he had talked about prosecutor, which we had discussed that wasn't going to be part of.
We haven't evolved that far.
That's
And when
fine.
we
I just
talk about
wanted to make sure.
prosecution,
Yeah.
We're
We're not
strictly
ruling it out,
talking
we
about.
just haven't agreed on how we're gonna handle it yet.
Yeah, the prosecution is strictly, and Greg, you and I spoke about this, I think, is just relative to issues concerning, violations on the lake. We're not talking about zoning or any of that type yet, but we're talking about, we were entertaining possibility relative to violations issued for boating, recklessness and so forth and so on. We haven't come to a conclusion how we're going to handle that. I would like tickets to be issued, and we've met with the police on several occasions relative to that, and I'd like it all handled, together on one matter, one night. Right now, Mr. Charbonneau is still the prosecutor for that, and that's fine with us, but we want to try to organize it so it doesn't fall through the cracks, and the most serious offenders are prosecuted in some way, shape, or form. So, but again, nothing's etched in stone yet.
And we can work all that out with the court.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
With regard
we
to
can discuss
if we
all
want to
that.
put and we've talked about it several times at our meetings.
And
That's fine.
I also want to say, any monies that are paid to John are coming through the Park Lake District. We have a taxing authority there, and we certainly want to make it reasonable and do the right thing and not let it get out of control. So we'll be watching it very closely.
Nobody outside of the Park District is picking up this bill, for anybody that's curious.
Yes, that's
Okay.
most significant.
Compton, if it's your collective belief between yourself and the Park District, and Mike is the liaison to the Park District, if you
And
feel that
Frank
this
has done a
is-
great job,
Frank-
too, I
and
want to add.
Frank
He's been
also?
there as well.
Yeah, so if you feel that this is necessary, and obviously you're requesting approval for the funding for the special counsel, then I'm fine with it. I'm good with it, as long as that, you're asking for it, and you feel it's necessary, and it'll be helpful to the community and the users of the lake and the property owners, then
Kenny,
I'm good with it.
You and I have been in close touch, and I'll
Yeah.
continue to be in close touch and tell you what's going on. And again, we want to keep it, at least initially, well under control, and just try to find out what's going on around the state with these lakes.
Yeah. And the funding for this is in your budget? In
Yes.
the Lake Park District budget, there is sufficient funding for it?
There should be.
There is.
I checked.
There is.
And there's some costs that we incur that won't be incurred this year. We don't have to go into that, but, some of the costs are every 2 or 3 years or whatever.
Okay.
Compton, I just asked that when there is perhaps monthly or bi-monthly, that there be a report issued by the attorney onto the work that he's been doing in terms of research that he's found, that might be beneficial to us to see.
Yeah, what we can do is certainly give it to you two, and
Right.
then you can pass it on right to the board, like we did with John's resume.
That's what I was
or
gonna
whatever.
say, we're
That's
gonna
fine.
see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, I hope you guys, hey, listen, you both have been terrific. We've really appreciated both of your
It's a
involvement.
necessary step.
Yeah.
It has to be done. A
And
lot of issues that have to be dealt with.
there was one other topic which I spoke to you about 5 minutes before our meeting. I can't discuss in public yet because it hasn't come to fruition, but that one other issue that we talked about, I've moved it in the direction where we're hoping it to go, so we might report back on that in a month or so.
That would,
Even less, actually.
that is so applauded, so terrific. We appreciate that, the entire board.
Thanks, Compton.
Okay.
Okay, and by the way, we were unanimous on this request
Yep.
here tonight. We met, and the board met with John as well. John came up to my office and met with everyone in my conference room.
Okay, great. Any further questions for Compton?
No questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Compton. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Okay, so now we're going to go to item number 7, and this is Mike Simone's request. Mike couldn't be here tonight, so he asked me to handle it. Highway Superintendent, consider request to acknowledge emergency payment for shortage of plow materials. So we have an emergency justification form that the Highway Superintendent filled out per the Town of Carmel procurement policy, section 6, emergency procurement. Subdivision 4 of the General Municipal Law sets forth the exception on purchasing and bidding requirements for emergency situations. The department is the Town of Carmel Highway Department. The vendor is Chemung Supply Corporation, number 0933. The nature of the emergency is the shortage of plow materials in February. As you all know, that February we had multiple snowstorms throughout the month of February on multiple dates, and the Highway Department crews were out many days and evenings plowing snow and keeping the roads clear over probably, I want to say, 5 or 6 snowstorms during the month of February. Some were back-to-back, some were over a few other days, but the plow blades were being worn out considerably during the month of February snow event. So the situation arose out of an unforeseen circumstance, which was the multiple snow events. The emergency purchases of services exceeded $10,000 and will be submitted to the town board for presentation at the town board meeting, which is this evening, to acknowledge said emergency. A town board resolution should be passed acknowledging same. So the amount of this is $31,691 for the plow blades. There were multiple plow blades, and these are double-edged blades that Mike uses on the plows. It's a carbide and a steel edge. So the carbide edge and the steel edge work together to preserve the length of time that the blades will be of service on that plow. So they last longer by having dual-edged blades, and Mike said it's been working out very well, and he finds that these blades last longer. They're a little bit more money, but they're considerably more efficient for plowing with. So he's got $31,691, as I stated, and these are for 30. They're for 30 blades, 30 plow blades. So this is an emergency request, Greg. This is per the procurement policy for the town. So
We do an acknowledging resolution next
Right.
week if the board's in favor. Okay? That's how we address it.
yeah, okay. Actually, there's 1, 2. Just looking at the orders here now, it's actually more than 30. The net is 30, yeah. So there's multiple blades that were purchased for that $31,000. So does anybody have any questions or comments for the Highway Superintendent's request for the emergency replacement of the blades?
No.
Okay. And it was recommended by the vendor because metal is going up considerably. The cost of steel and metal is rising quite a bit, and the fact that the Highway Superintendent is purchasing these blades now at this cost will probably save us money in the long run as steel continues to rise. So he supports the net amount of blades that were purchased at that cost. All right, so any further questions on this item? Bob, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Mike and Frank? All right. So 8 and 9 and 10 are Jim Gilchrist, our Parks and Recreation Director. Jim? Jim, so 8 is to consider request to accept the proposal for the installation of an alarm system at Airport Park.
Sure, this is going to be for the building out at Airport Park, which consists of a concession room, a large meeting room in the center, some storage space, a garage, bathrooms for the public. So as being a public space in a public building, we have to have an alarm system for fire, carbon monoxide, smoke detectors, and so on. So this alarm system was taken off the New York State bid. Doyle, which is the parent company of CIA, is the company that we deal with. So if you look at the specs, what I did is I had an original proposal, and I asked them to option it out at the end, to take some of these items and put them on line items so we can discuss them. So my suggestion would be to go with the package that was presented for, I think it was $21,084. And then the rental of $10 a month is for a radio that you have to rent. This system would be on the internet, phone lines, and also as a backup, it'll be on a radio system. So if the cables go down or the telephones go down, there's a backup, which is a repeater. It goes around all the radio towers around. And that would pick up if there's any kind of alarms out at the building. And then the options that I would recommend, when you get to the option page, which is number 7, is a surge protector for the power. That's $49. I definitely would add that on. The next would be a surge protector for the telephone line for $32. That's option 2. Option 3 would be a network surge suppression. That's $40. I'd recommend going with that. And I would not recommend going with any of the other options at this point. We could always add them on if we wanted to down the road. But I would stay with this basic package with those 3 options that we could add onto it. We're ready in the construction process for this to be installed. I've been working with, I forget the company now that took over for Sullivan Data. They're going to be working with either Comcast or Verizon, bringing a line off of Hill Street into the building, which would go into this system, and also the video surveillance system. So we have a lot of pieces that are starting to come together now.
Was it alarm in the original specs?
This we always had as, I have $44,000 that I've been carrying over for the last 3 years.
No.
This was not in the MSA specs.
That was my question.
No, yeah, this has always been a town expense.
So that's wrong, my question. MSA's building the building.
Yep,
This is something you want that wasn't in the specs that MSA saw.
that's correct. Yeah, this would be a town requirement, and it's obviously a state requirement to put these alarm services in the building.
And have we gotten prices from anybody else?
No, I took this off of the New York State bid. It's our alarm company that we use on all of our other buildings.
No, I know that.
Yep, but I did not get any other prices now.
How long have we been using this alarm company for all our other buildings?
I have no idea. How many?
Has it ever gone out for bid?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Jim, I walked, I'm sorry, are we finished, Mike? I walked over on Saturday to the property, and the park, and I looked at the whole thing, and the building is beautiful.
Yep.
The door was left open, which I addressed with you,
Yep.
and that needs to be taken care of in the future. But this big building is in the middle of this very large park, which is in the middle, basically, of nowhere else around it. You know, you got a few streets coming into it, but for the most part, it's very remote. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, the building is mostly glass, so while we have alarm system is nice too, but I do think, and it might not look aesthetically nice, but I do think we need window gates to cover up that building. Because you break one of those glasses, I mean, it's, again, it's just my opinion, Ken.
Well, Frank, the glass that we have out there, not that I want to have people try to break it, it's bulletproof, but it's break-proof glass. Yep.
Okay, that's what
So,
you're
but
saying.
when I get on to the next item, we'll be addressing that.
I know that it doesn't look aesthetically nice, but if you go out there and there's nothing else going on, you know, we've had damage to that park years ago when people came on with, you know, I'm not going to make suggestions, but we know what happened, and they were prosecuted by the police department, but, you know, that's after the fact, right? So if you tell me the glass can't break,
I'm not saying
well,
it can't
then
break.
you did.
But Frank, well, no, it's designed, this glass is designed to be in an active park, similar to,
I understand, but when you have, again,
it's
just
not like
my-
you're dealing with a
just my
double pane window
suggestion.
on the back of a house.
I voted 4
Right,
to
but
1,
that-
no problem, but when you do have, you know, people with intentions, perhaps idle hands and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's something to be considered, because it really is out in the middle of nowhere, and by the time anybody would notice it, it'd be way too late.
But I think we should have considered that, Frank, if that was an issue, back when they were planning it, when they saw the plans.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because then we could have addressed it then and said, hey, the big windows, I'm afraid somebody's going to do it. I think.
You're right, but now they're
Yeah.
there, and you could
Yeah.
always add in the window gates after they're done all the time, after construction. So, again, if you're telling me that it won't break, then I'll believe you.
Jimmy, with these, the basic internet monitoring fee, do you also have to buy internet, and then this is on top of this? So is it $29,
Yeah, I
$29.95
would
per
not
month?
recommend doing that for this system. That was
Okay.
another option that we had. I would not recommend, is it an option, or?
No, it's not an option. It's 29, I'm not reading it as an option. I'm reading it that the purchase fee is the $21,084. The rental fee for the radio is $10.
Yep.
The basic internet monitoring fee is $29.95 a month, and then the radio monitoring fee is $5 a month. So it's an additional $44.95.
Those
month.
those are options that we could put on there.
I don't think this is an
Okay.
option, Jimmy. Just look at it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at this
Look
here,
at page 6.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just ask, because page 7 had the, page 7 had the options. Just ask them.
Yeah, so the total would be $49.95 here.
Yeah, right.
okay.
And that includes the $29.95 per month, just to monitor the internet. So just ask
Yeah, I
about
remember,
that.
well, this is a proposal from them, and it's from the state, New York State contract.
Yeah.
We're going to get a contract from them after we put all of our options together,
Okay,
which would come back for you guys for review at that point. So I'll clarify those with them.
yes.
I didn't
Thank
think
you.
these were necessary when I discussed it, but
Yeah,
I'll bring that up.
okay.
I just wanted to mention also, we did just get a $50,000 grant from Homeland Security for control access here to the building if we wish to use it for that. I don't know why we didn't apply for the building, knowing that we had to put a alarm system in it. And maybe it's not too late, maybe you could reach out to them and we could use some of that funding, or all of the funding if we wish to do so, for the airport park building.
Okay.
If so, maybe we can table it or hold off it until someone contacts the grant writer and see if we can.
That grant was
Get
already
funding for
written? It's all,
Yes.
okay.
It's done. We received the money on March 26th.
The terms and conditions of the funding are actually spelled out in the grant application, what you can use the funding for.
Right, and it
I'm not
says here-
sure that we can, it's for this building. I'm not sure if you can use it off-site. So I guess maybe we can get a clarification from Dave Jennings, the
I'll
grant
do
writer,
that tomorrow.
and find out if that's what we can do or not.
Yeah, it says for any type of critical infrastructure or mass gatherings, special event site, which I would think that would fall into.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So
And that money's been awarded to us already.
it has. So if you want to reach out to Dave tomorrow
Okay,
and just get a clarification from him
right,
as to what we can actually use it for.
will do.
It would be off-site at one of our recreation facilities for a new building that we constructed. So it's a possibility we might be able to, but the way I read the application the other day when it came in, the language in it, it specifically spoke about this
Town
building
hall.
and the PD.
That's what we
Yeah.
actually built it
So,
around.
But it won't harm to call them and find out, Bob,
Right.
if that's something that, or we might be able to amend the application, and all he would need to do is get the approvals from Homeland Security, because that's who funded the grant.
Or split the funding if
Or split
need
it,
be,
right.
depending, I don't know how much it will cost for each place.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
so you'll follow up on that,
Yep, I'll
Bob?
take care of it tomorrow.
Okay.
And also, Mike Carnazza and the fire inspector reviewed this proposal. And it meets all of our local needs. It actually exceeded a couple areas, which they thought was good.
And who's going to be monitoring this, Jim? Is it the alarm company that monitors the alarm?
Well, the alarm, if it's ever triggered, would go to, Central Command.
Central station?
Yep.
Okay.
And then they notify me directly, and the police department.
So this doesn't include any cameras?
No, this
No.
is the
This,
first,
the next one's the
That's the
cameras?
next
yes, yeah.
Okay. So this is just for
The
the
next
alarm
one is
system?
the-
This
yeah.
would be for for the fire, burglary, and then also access for our bathrooms and different access to the building,
Okay,
all right?
all right.
So the next proposal we have is for a video surveillance system out at the airport park. This, again, would be a basic package that we have. It's going to have the capabilities of having a tremendous amount of cameras around the park as we build on. We can do some remote cameras up by the water towers if we wanted to do any surveillance on people coming in and out, if we have any issues up there. Around the gazebo, playground. As we start building these other pieces, we can add more if it's needed. So we started with this. This is a basic package. If I remember correctly, it was,
Did the 5287?
yeah, there's a couple options.
Purchase
I would
option
recommend
one.
going with the purchase of $5,287 and not going with option number 2. Option number 2 is almost like a lease type of an arrangement.
Is it what?
It's all, you have to pay a monthly fee. You have a lower purchase price.
So what do you suggestion we go with?
I would go with purchase number 1, option number 1, and buy it
Which is how
outright.
much?
$5,287.
That includes 5 years of monitoring at over $600 a year.
Yes, yep.
Monitoring on a camera? What is it, Central State? I mean, you're telling me there's monitoring on cameras also now? I mean, on an alarm system, you have the central station, the alarm
Yeah.
goes off. Cameras have any camera,
You know, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. This goes to, we'll have a hard drive in the building
right,
with a monitor there,
right?
and it will be recorded. We'll be able to, if there's any issues like we have in all our other
Right.
parks,
I agree.
it's recorded there. And it doesn't go out to an alarm company.
So then why, the quality assurance program, I like that word, the way it's worded.
That's option number 2, you
Will
mean?
be, so you're not taking that?
No, I said option number 1.
Option 1.
Well, that brings it down, then it should be $4,200, not $50-something hundred dollars.
No, option number 2 has a lot more that's added on to that.
I'll read it again this week. But the way, I mean, it's pretty simple, Simon.
Yep.
Option number 1, which one you want to go with?
Option number 1,
Option number 1, purchase price is $52.87,
that's correct.
90-day guarantee.
Yep,
Now, option number 2, the initial purchase price is $42.27,
that's correct.
plus the program of $53 for 5 years.
Yep.
And what does that come out to?
And then everything else that's involved with this. If you add it all up, it's going to be a lot more than $52.87.
Okay. I'm questioning, what is the quality assurance program at $53 per month for 5 years, which you're locking into? And the other question is, do we get any other prices?
No, I did not get any other prices, no.
Same, I have the same answer I have on the first one then.
Yep.
Is this what we have at Baldwin?
Quality assurance program will remain in effect for 60 months, but can be renewed at that time to continue the coverage on a monthly basis. This option is only available at time of purchase. $53 per month, I just, what is it? What is it?
You're basically you're buying it someone and spreading out the payments over 60 months. That's what it comes down to.
So the $53 times 60 months comes up to $3,180 for the quality assurance program.
Yep.
Option 1 is the cheapest. Because when you add up all the costs, what'd you say it was, 3,000?
$3,180.
And then you add the 4227,
7,000?
then it's 7,000. So option 1 would be the way to go, obviously. But
Look
Board-
at it during
board,
the
do you
week.
want-
I'm bothered. How do we get this person?
How do we get this person? They do video surveillance in all over other parks.
in all our other parks.
They do video surveillance in our water districts, they do video surveillance in town hall. I can go, I can get all the prices, if that's what you guys like me to do.
No. I'm coming to another
Is it-
question. So
Okay.
we have one guy doing all our alarms in the town.
Yep.
We have one guy doing all our videos on the town, and this guy's been doing it as long as the other guy? The other guy's been forever. And he has illegal signs throughout the entire town.
Yep.
You're acknowledging that.
No, I mean, you talk about the CIA securities?
So we have somebody we don't review on an annual basis, and we don't price check on an annual basis, that acknowledges to have security signs, which are an advertisement, all over the town.
We don't have those in any of our town
That's all I
parks
have to say.
for our facilities. But if you'd like me to go out and get.
CIA.
I'm not arguing with you, Jimmy.
No, but
What
I'm saying-
what you wanted, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I wanna have one- I
I'm
wanna have
questioning
one
the
company.
town's
When I-
business, I'm questioning how the town does business to all its vendors. That's what I'm questioning. I'm not,
For
I'm
me-
not picking this individual out. I have no idea who the heck he is.
For me, as a manager, spending $5,300 for video surveillance for one park, we could probably go out and save a little bit, but
Jimmy,
it'll be
I
a headache
trust you.
having.
That's not the question.
Yeah.
I trust you 100%. You already said several times, you have money set aside.
Yeah.
You save money. I know you do that. That's why I volunteered to help you do some things.
Yep.
Okay, if you didn't do that, Linla wouldn't volunteer anything with the Park Department. So I'm not questioning you or anything you do with the Parks Department. I think you do a tremendous job. But I just wanted to bring something out
Sure.
that came out with these last two things.
Yep. So what do you guys think? You want to go forward with?
No, listen, what Councilman Borelli brought up, Jim,
Yep.
is, you hear what he's saying?
I hear what you're saying.
What he's saying is get other pricing.
I could do that.
I think that's what I'm getting, that's what I've heard. I think that's we've all heard. Go out and get other prices. And then come back, when you secure the other prices, get 3 other proposals, 3 other written proposals.
Okay.
When you get those, come back to the board, request to be put back on the work session.
Yeah, we have plenty, we've already wired the building,
Right.
so we have time. So we can look at simple, I mean, you have Ring out there.
Jim?
Those kind of, there's other
No,
technologies.
Jimmy,
What?
Jimmy.
I don't want to hold you up
No,
at
that's
all
okay.
with the building. I have no problem with the numbers. I have a problem with how things have been done.
Okay. So I can be back, it's gonna take me probably 2 to 3 weeks to get 2 other proposals. I'd have to get people, get them out, meet them out there, go through the process. So I'll get 2 other, we have, matter of
I
fact,
would
we
think
have,
after what we've gone through the last 2 years, that nobody should come in front of this board with one price. That's it. End of story. End of discussion.
okay.
No reflection on you whatsoever. I have your back 110%. But you're used to this. And this is how it always works.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
Well, the first proposal I gave you guys was off a New York State bid.
I understand.
The second, the video portion,
The
Doyle.
people don't understand. The people that are watching this don't understand.
Doyle is in the process of getting on that bid. They haven't been able to get onto that list. CIA Securities was purchased by Doyle a couple of years ago, so they're still going through that process.
I'm not questioning.
So, but
their-
that's the reason. So
I'm
the
not
fir-
questioning their reputation. I'm
the
not
first
questioning
proposal is a-
their workmanship.
Yeah,
I'm just questioning the process.
sure.
And we'll also check with the grant writers, see if there's any grants available for any of these 2 projects.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right?
You got it.
So, Jim, follow the procurement policy and get 3 written proposals for goods and services. All right?
This would be
And then come-
this is not a professional service, it's goods and services?
It's, Greg?
Services, you still
Profession-
get- Sure it is. But you
Right.
can get competitive prices for it anytime.
Right, and you know what, you want to go one step further? We'll go one step further. I think the entire alarm services, the alarms, the cameras, all the equipment, everything, there's no contract for Doyle Securities with the town of Carmel at all.
Okay.
All right, so, and we've talked about this. I've talked about it. I know Mary Ann and I spoke, Michelle and I spoke about this. It should probably go out to bid. everything, all the alarms throughout the entire town of Carmel should go out to bid.
Okay.
All right, and that's not you, Jim.
No, I understand that.
That's something that we need to discuss as a board, Greg, Mary Ann, and others, and let's just do it.
Okay.
And it's not because Mike brought it up tonight. I've been talking about this for years, 2 years, for 2 years, and it hasn't gotten done.
Okay.
So,
All right, so
All
I'll
right.
get do you want me to get other prices for the first proposal that I had?
yes, yes.
All right, so
All right,
I'll get other prices on it also.
okay.
You got it. And the last item I have is getting rid of another Crown Victoria. We brought it in for service. Our mechanic said this is another dangerous vehicle, so we immediately took it off the road. So I'm looking for authorization to have this removed from the fleet.
Okay. All right, it's off the road. Is the insurance off it yet, Jim, or are you going to wait until the resolution is approved?
Now, what I'm going to do is, they're working on, they have the last Crown Vic that was decommissioned from the police department. The highway department's going to set it up for us, so we're going to transfer the plates. So once we transfer the plates, then we'll be able to remove from the insurance.
Okay.
So we started the process. That'll probably take a couple weeks to get that done.
Okay. All right, any questions for Jim on this item?
Nope.
No? Okay. Thanks, Jim.
You got it, okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Now, we did 11, 12, Lake Cassidy Park District Advisory Board, consider request to approve and authorize distribution of the 2021 spring newsletter. Board, you have their spring newsletter?
Yep.
Take a look at it. It's nicely done, as always. Does anybody have any questions or comments about it?
No.
No? Okay, so we're going to approve this for the 21st going out. All right? Okay, item number 13, Lake Cassidy Park District Advisory Board, consider request to authorize summer part-time wage rates, lifeguards and gatekeepers. The lifeguard request their pay, they're requesting that their pay be $14, between $14 and $18 per hour, and the gate guard pay will be $13 to $18 per hour. Any questions, please let me know. This is Terrence Kelly, who is the manager of the Lake Cassidy Park District. So they do this every year. The board has to approve the hourly rates for the lifeguards and gate guards. Board have any questions about this?
Were they about the same prices as last year?
Yeah. And we do it for Lake Secor also.
Right. No questions.
Any other questions, Frank? Mike? Okay. All right. So that completes the town board agenda, work session agenda for tonight. At this time, does anyone from the public like to come up and comment on the agenda items only that we covered this evening? Come on up at this time.
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Hope you're good too.
Just state your name.
Yes, I'm James Carmody.
Okay, how are you, James?
Good. So,
Good.
thanks for letting me speak. I really am glad that the town is committing to competitive bidding from now. And I wanted to talk specifically about Resolution 3.
3, okay. The police chief's request to purchase the Ford Explorer and hybrid?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm very grateful to see the police department getting a hybrid vehicle. As you mentioned, Supervisor Schmidt, we need more action reducing our climate footprint in all of Carmel. And so I wonder if, in addition to getting a hybrid vehicle, if the resolution for approval can specify that an old purely gas-guzzling vehicle can also be retired, as it will be replaced by the hybrid. Is that possible to write into the resolution?
The vehicles that are replaced by the hybrid?
Yes.
And what are you requesting, that the resolution state that the vehicle be retired?
Yes.
Well, the vehicle may have some useful life in it, and when it comes off the patrol line, some of the cars are still in very good condition, and they have a useful purpose for the town, and we recycle them through the town departments. For instance, Jimmy Gilchrist at Recreation has gotten some of the old patrol cars. We've used them in this building, the building department, and the assessor's office has used former police vehicles. So so when they come off the line, they don't necessarily just go out and be disposed of and no longer can be used, that were obsolete. And some we sell, some we actually sell, but I know what you're stating and what you're asking for, but these cars will have some useful life left in them, either as town vehicles in other departments. Highway has some of the old patrol cars as well. So when they're finished being used by either recreation, highway, building department, or the assessor's office, then the cars are declared old and obsolete and they're disposed of. So they usually wind up going to a junkyard by then. They're no good. So at that point, they will be no longer used.
Okay, so I think that it'd be wise to formalize the recycling process in the resolution, just a single clause. If that can be done, I think it'd be the best way to communicate this to the town people.
Yeah, and James, I think what ultimately our goal is to have all hybrid cards, used for if it works in the police department as well as the town cars that we have. That's a goal of ours to get there.
And electric vehicles also.
And electric, yes, yes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone else have any comments on the agenda items that we covered tonight? Come on up. Okay, if not, is anybody here for the new forum, open business portion of the meeting? You can come up and address the town board for any town-related matters. Okay, there being none, does the town board have any announcements they'd like to make?
Yeah, I have two.
Okay, so why don't you go first, Susan?
Sure. The first one, I just want to say that 7 Mahopac High School students were recognized at the Westchester Science and Engineering Fair. 564 students from around the region participated in the virtual fair this year, and Mahopac High School sent 7 projects and awarded a total of 6 of the awards. So that's really awesome for them. So I just want to congratulate the winners, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce your names. There's Alexander Gaspar and Andrea Sedembrini, Victoria Longo and Olivia Saturn. And there is Renuka Muralidhar and Alexa Tyberg and Maxwell Semigran. So I want to congratulate them on such a great job to come in, the top with that many people coming in, entering is a really great accomplishment to them, and I wish them well in their endeavors. And then the second is, again, just regarding the Town of Carmel Comprehensive Plan Workshop. Please join us for a public workshop. We're going to be having 2 plan webinars to solicit public comment on a vision for the town's future, issues and opportunities, and concepts for future land use. The first session is Saturday, April 17th at 10 o'clock a.m., and the second session is Monday, April 19th at 7 o'clock p.m. You can go on the town website, and it has the little QR code here, or you can go on the town website and just click on it to register for either one of those. Thank you. That was it, Kenny.
Okay, thanks, Sue. Mike, you have something?
Yeah, I just want to read something that Mrs. Mary Ann Chuluzian gave me, and it's basically with the sheriff. I think it came out in today's paper. I saw somebody sent it to me online, but it has to do with COVID and what some people in the community have done that nobody knows about. I mean, a lot of people have done a lot of things, but these people really went above and beyond. I'm going to read part of what Sheriff Langley said when he gave an award out to these people. This past year has proved to be challenging. All of us have been touched by COVID in some way. Likely, none of us have been touched by members of our caring neighborhood who have stepped up to give themselves to make their community better. Sheriff Langley and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office recognized these community heroes with an outdoor ceremony. And Sheriff Langley thanked those who contributed, supported, and continue to support our men and women during this COVID pandemic. As ever, a special thank you goes to the tireless generous Marianne Chaluzian, that lady is bionic as far as I'm concerned. She's everywhere doing everything, and it's all for the good. Further thanks go to, now these people have fed and delivered food to seniors, to people that were sick, to people that were stuck inside. Marin's Deli, I can't pronounce the name, Albana Marone, Crazy Jack's on Route 6 here, Arcely and Phil, Benvenuto's Restaurant, Erin Lee Crowley, Masks, Makers Guild, Lori Miley, Jim Smith Karate, Mario from Mario's Wood Burning Restaurant, Tommy Bucci, Bucci's Brothers, everybody knows what they do. Angelica from her place, Frank Lombardi, I don't know how your name got in there. Gerard Ayler. No, you don't have to tell me, I'm teasing you. Gerard Ayler, Michael McDonald, Nicole Sternum, I believe it is, UK Seydu, Michael O'Brien, and Mark Anthony from the pub. Without community, we would not be Putnam strong. And I want to emphasize that. This thank you comes from the board also, besides the sheriff. I just wanted to say that.
Great job, Will.
Ditto.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you all. What did Frank do, Mike?
I don't know. He'll tell you, he's going to tell you.
I know, we don't have enough
But I'm
time.
not finished.
Yeah, we'll be in bed by the time you finish.
All right.
I know what
Any
you
more
did.
announcements? Yeah,
The other thing I have is a personal thing, and I'm bothered by it. And after the last couple of years, when I have something to say, I'm going to say it for the record because I want a record of it. That's why I'm saying it out here. 4 or 5 years ago, I stood by that podium and I begged, nagged, and screamed, 3 people that are still here, to buy the property behind Mahopac National Bank. And to the town's benefit, they did. They listened to me, which is very unusual, and they bought the property. I set up the meeting with Kenny, Jonathan. I put together the volunteers to demo, save taxpayers way over 6 figures, my lay partner and I. I did the original drawings, took me weeks. I begged Joel Greenberg to make them legible so we could present them to people. For that, and I take it because it came from a couple local crazies, I was called a thief. I was told I profited off of it. I sold the town a swamp. It's a flood zone. And all of this was in newspapers and in Facebook. We all dealt with picking Jeff Cantelmo, great engineering firm. Kenny and I alone dealt with the DOT. And I'm sure everybody could say downtown looks a lot better just with the curbs and the traffic light. And if you do business at that bank, you have a light to come out to now. But a week ago, the first meeting several months ago, if anybody remembers, I left this meeting early because I was sick. And the first meeting for that project was the following day, and I was sicker. So I didn't go. But last week, there was a meeting. I wasn't told at a meeting. I was never sent an email on the meeting. And when the meeting started, which I thought was weird, it was held in Sycamore Park, and there was between 10 and a dozen people there. I mean, this is, my vision on this from the beginning was for the downtown revitalization of this town and for the access of everybody to see Lake Mahopac like they see Carmel when they go through Carmel, and for access for all. But the meeting started. Nobody asked when me and Bob, I don't think you realize it either. Me and Bob were not told about the meeting. I'm sorry, Bob. But me and Bob did not know about the meeting. Now, with 10 to 12 people there, nobody asked, where's Mike Borelli? And could anybody have called? I mean, that Tuesday night, just to get out of the house because I was going crazy, I went to Patty's house to watch a baseball game, Yankee game. Now, there's a problem. There's a problem with the 3 sets of plans that are given out. Here's the problem. I dealt with Mahopac National Bank. Kenny and me dealt with them originally, but I dealt with all of the meetings with Jerry Klein. And I could tell you what they said about dealing with politicians and what's going to happen, and I gave him my word that this was going to come out this way, and within reason. You know, obviously, he understood there's going to be changes, and there are changes, which are, some of them are for the better. But that bank went on what I told them, and the current proposal, the way I just reviewed all the plans the last couple of days, is not going to work to the banks, to make the bank happy. And I think if the town attorney reviews the contracts that we have, he'll agree to that. So I don't know how I was excluded from this meeting. It could have been an accident. But when an email goes out with 10 and 12 names on it, and 2 names are missing, I would have thought 10 or 12 of those people, one out of those 10 or 12 people, would have picked it up. So I want to have another meeting, and I firmly insist right here publicly that we have one, at least, hopefully 2 meetings with the public to see what they want in this park before the final prints are drawn. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that is the intention, Mike, is to have at least 2 public meetings. And just to speak on you being excluded from the email, that email started from Jeff Cantelmo's office from Inside Engineering, and it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It wasn't done intentional, but it originated from their office, and what they did was they included the people in that email that attended the first meeting that was attended here, and then other people commented on Insight's email, and the topic of it was Airport Park. Actually, so it was sent out as an airport park. I'm not sure how it became Airport Park. But, so, you being left off of it and Bob being left off of it, it wasn't done intentional. There was nothing deliberate done. It was a mistake. Nobody caught it. I didn't catch it, and everybody else that read the email didn't catch it either, so.
10 to 12 people that are in the park, I would believe 10 to 12 of those people had cell phones. It's not a big town. I was right around, I was at Patty's house. So you had a meeting, you had Jeff draw these beautiful proposals. I think you should talk to the town attorney. I think you should have another meeting with me there, and I'll tell you what the bank expects based on what I told them and what I told this entire board and what the attorney tells you. Before we go any further down the road with the plans, we have to have another meeting. That's all.
So let's,
Let me just say this. I mean, I actually had mentioned to Councilman Channel that day, we talk at least once a day, and I said, oh, you coming to the meeting tonight? And he goes, oh, I didn't know about it. I said, oh, I think it was in an email chain, and it was a very long chain. I was like, oh, come, and there were like, including the people from the rec department, the director and the assistant, I think there was 7 or 8 people. It wasn't, I don't know who told you 12, because I was there and there weren't 12. But
Frank,
again, I don't know, again, I know it was a very long email chain, and he had mentioned to me that day that, oh, you know, I said, oh, you come tonight? And I told him all about it, and he was there, and, you know, I have no idea. But anyway, I don't think anything was finalized.
No.
I think it was always going to go to the public after a couple of meetings, but we had made some suggestions. That was really all, and nothing was finalized.
I'm just telling you, you have some problems with the plans. I want the bank hears me. I want them to know that I wasn't there when these plans were presented, and I will correct it.
I think we
Try
should.
to correct it.
I think we should have another meeting then, and Mike should definitely be there.
Oh, without a doubt. we
yeah,
should.
Mike
Has so much input
Mike
into it.
has all 3 concept drawings. He has
All of you should.
Everybody should have.
Everyone
I have,
Everybody has.
yeah, I have it
All right.
also.
So,
What happened, Dawn McKenzie sent out an email on the 25th of March with the people that were at the first meeting. From that email, that's where it started to roll, and then when we looked at some of the plans or whatever, I know I asked a question about the tree. One of the plans didn't have the tree in it, and I asked a question about the tree. And then I said, I thought we were having another meeting. And that's when that happened. So that originated from Dawn, And I believe that came from the.
Dawn's
the
with
peop-
Insight, correct?
Dawn is with Insight, correct. And I believe that that list was from the name of the people that were at the very first meeting. So, yeah, it was definitely an oversight on Insight's engineer. They should.
I'm not blaming Insight Engineering.
I'm not blaming anybody. I don't want to, what I'm saying.
blaming the 10 people that were there that never.
No, Mike,
Didn't
because
pick up
every
a
meeting,
phone.
so Mike, every meeting that you go to and I'm not there, are you going to call me and say, Susie, are you
If
there?
I knew this was you, if you put this much time in it,
Oh, wait,
let me tell you something
but
about
Mike,
this, Sue.
I know, Mike, I know all
This-
about this, but
this
I
is
also
in-
sent
this is in-
plans and everything to
meeting was in the
you.
Parks Department.
You're right, because
Okay,
there was no
should be more
room here.
people outside of the parks. Out of the 8, I say there's 8 to 10 to 12 people. Out of those 10 to 12 people, off of the board, everybody else was affiliated with the Parks Department.
Because
That
it's a
project
Parks
should
and
include
Rec.
more people from downtown Mayapack.
Michael-
It should include the Chamber of Commerce. It should include 1 or 2 business people. This is not a
Mike,
park.
No, it is. It went through recreation. All of this started after we
I know
purchased
where
the
it ended up
property.
in
It went through recreation because it is a recreation.
I
It is
know where it
considered a
started.
park, just like Carmody Park, just like the Chamber Park, just like the Airport Park. It is considered a recreation. Recreation, it went through the Recreation Department.
I didn't say no
And their
recre- I said there
commissioners,
should be
and then they
added people
decided
in.
what people were going to be at these meetings, okay?
I think
So
the Chamber
no
of
one-
Commerce-
No one was excluded on purpose, okay? And every single person up here had the plans, had everything, and I think one person commented up on this board. Okay? So it's the same thing. Rich Franzetti sent out the garbage contracts 2.5 months ago. And everybody's bitching about Rich. Hey, we didn't get the plans, we didn't get the plans. No, we had them 2 months ago. None of us read it, obviously, and commented on it. But we're quick to blame. Read the emails. Everything was there. Yes, was it an oversight? Not from us. And if you think that I'm going to go to every single meeting and say, oh, Kenny's not here, let me call, Bob's not here, I don't get that.
Sue, I'm not arguing with you.
Good.
Because arguing with you is a no-win position.
You're right.
You'll just keep going till you think you sound right, and...
No, unfortunately, in this one, I am right, Mike.
You are?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Ms. McDonough.
But I'm not going
I
to debate
went-
you here,
I
Mike.
started in California with 2 friends, my wife and 2 friends.
Mike,
And
I don't
we-
need
we
to hear your
checked
life
every
story.
water
Mike, if you
park,
want to hear my
waterfront
life
park from
story, I can go into that
San Diego to
too.
Washington State.
Ken, you need to stop this, because
In
I
Florida, the
told you
same
I'm not
thing.
going to back down anymore.
Well, You're
So
still
you can
rambling.
stop it.
You're still rambling.
All right, so what?
Go ahead, Mike.
Where are we going with this?
We're going is, somebody in this room should have had the courtesy to call me that night when they saw it was an oversight.
Okay.
And now I'm pointing out to you that because of that, you screwed up something and it has to be fixed. And I am taking this publicly because I don't want Mayapack of Tompkins Bank to think I was part of it.
Okay, so I want it on the record that if there's any meetings that I'm not out, I expect a phone call also.
It's not, this
'Cause
is a
that's what Mr.
particular
Borelli
meeting
is
on a
requesting.
particular thing where I did all the work, Susan, so don't do me a favor.
Mike, it's not
Don't
an
insult
I.
the public
Mike,
and don't insult me.
it's not an I up here, it's a we. It's a we.
Guys.
We.
Please,
Guys,
please.
both of you, enough, all right? Please, stop, both
Well,
of you.
Kenny,
all
you
right?
didn't call either.
I didn't call either, but I didn't deliver you the plans either. If I delivered you the plans,
Rob Barrett
I would've
delivered me the
told-
plans.
No kidding, Mike.
After the
No
meeting.
kidding, I know
And
that.
said to me, where were you? You
Rob-
weren't at the
No,
meeting.
no.
Rob knew
Rob
about the
Barrett
meeting.
came to my
No.
office 2 days after the meeting, brought me plans and says, where were you? I go, what are you talking about?
No, he brought you the plans before the meeting.
The little ones, the big plans.
Yeah, the big ones.
Came after. And when he told me, I
Rob
didn't
didn't tell
know
about
you
the
didn't
meeting.
know. I says, I want to see the email chain that told me about this meeting. And it took me 2 days to get it from him. But Rob Barrett came to my office and yelled at me for not being at the meeting. That's how this came up.
He was
Well,
at the meeting
listen,
as well,
Rob,
Mike.
Rob Varra is the engineer projects coordinator.
Right.
All right? It's not his responsibility to tell you about a meeting. I agree with that. He
You
brought
didn't
you
hear
the...
what I said. He yelled
I
at me
heard-
that I missed the meeting. It's not his responsibility.
Of course it's not, but he brought you the plans. I'm getting to that. Hold on. All right? Mike, listen.
What?
You're upset about this. I understand that.
I'm upset
I get
about
it.
a lot of things.
I get it. However, you're a town board member, just like I am.
Yes, that's correct.
You gonna let me finish?
No, I just said that's
All right?
correct. I'm sorry.
If you and I would communicate more, I think we'd probably all be better off, all right?
Absolutely, I said that on your email.
I'm not, listen, I'm not the one that's not communicating.
What have I missed in the town board business?
If you would call me.
What have I missed in town? Kenny, you don't want to go there with the camera on. You don't want to go there. You
Okay.
don't want to go there.
Listen, it doesn't matter to me. If you want to air this out
I'm
on
not
TV,
airing anything out.
I'll air it out.
I aired out something
I've been
for
trying to
Mahopac
work
National
with you.
Bank only.
I've been trying to work with you. I started this year off saying, let's all please try to work together. Remember that? Remember my little speech?
Are we
All right?
getting work done?
We're not. No, obviously we're not. Obviously we're not.
It's my fault.
Did I say it was your fault?
No, but I'm saying-
But if you would check in from time to time.
Check in.
If you would make a phone call
In
to
the
me,
last 3
if
years-
you would call
in
me
the
like
last
you
3
call
years-
Kenny,
Bob
Kenny, I think this is a personal conversation that should be
If
continued
you
after the
would call
meeting.
me,
You brought it up.
Guys, listen.
I worked full-time for this town for the last 3 years. And I donate myself.
nobody's suggesting that you're not.
Especially on this
Let me just say this. When I got that email, and when I get any emails, actually, I don't check who else is on the email. No, I don't, because I read it for myself.
Curiosity, who's going to be there?
And-
I check every email
and I-
you would send to, because I want to know who's going to be there. That's good business.
That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, I looked at the email. It was a very long chain. I was talking to Bob that day. I said, "Oh, you coming tonight?" And he goes,
Frank,
"Oh, I didn't know."
Frank.
No, hold on. Let me just
The
finish.
purpose of what I said was Mahopac National.
No, that's fine. And I think
And I don't know
think
what
that
the issue is with Mahopac
Yeah, I
National
think
Bank.
I don't
Had
know
you
either.
talked to
But I'm
me,
sure
maybe
we
we'd
could.
figure that out.
I'm sure we could figure out whatever the issue is.
You have a building.
But we'll figure. We'll
You have
whatever
a
it is.
building proposed that is the size of Mahopac National Bank almost. You have a building that's proposed that if you stop at the traffic light on Route 6, cuts 33% off the biggest site distance on the lake. And if you stop on 6N, cuts off about 25% of it. Totally defeats the entire purpose of the project. Mahopac National, I'm quite sure, when they see the plans, will bring it up to everybody. And that's all I'm saying.
Okay. So wait,
All I'm saying is I
nothing's
wasn't
been
there.
nothing's
I
been
knew what was
finalized.
wrong.
There were suggestions made, and they had made some suggestions, some things that we thought needed to be changed, and I think they're moving in that direction. But nothing's been finalized by any stretch of the
We
imagination.
have to fix some things. in Mahopac National.
So let's
Well, that's
fix it.
fine. We'll
Let's
fix
it.
that. Well,
Let's
listen.
Let's set another
There's
meeting.
nothing.
That was the
Again,
purpose.
there's
So
no.
let's-
We
Mike.
haven't had.
I gave them my word as a businessman and a gentleman that I was going to do the right thing, and I don't want them to think that I was part of this. That's all.
Okay,
That was the
all right,
purpose.
so let's have another meeting. You'll be there, all right? I'll let you know when it is and where, and we'll go over the concept drawings. And please, whatever you see on the drawings that is contrary to what the Mahopac National Bank had agreed to per the contract, point it out, all right? I don't know what else to say, all right? You should be at those meetings. You and I started this.
That's right.
All right, we started this 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago with the purchase of the Swan Cove property. I want to finish it. I want you to be part of it when the concept of the properties is completed. I think if you start something, let's finish it. Now, getting back to the email, I take responsibility for that, all right? It's on me.
That's all I ask.
It's on me. I'm the town supervisor.
Thank you.
I take responsibility for it. It should never have gone out without Mike being included and Bob included on the email. It was a slip-up, and you know what? I need to do a better job of reviewing who these emails are sent to and when they're sent to it. So I own it. It's my responsibility. I accept responsibility for it. I apologize, Mike, that you weren't included in it.
I accept it.
Okay, thank you. Bob, I apologize you weren't included.
Accepted.
Okay. It won't happen in the future. We'll all try to communicate a little bit better. So when I call you, Mike, could you answer your phone?
When have you called me right now?
I don't know, when you're out,
When have you called me that I haven't answered the phone?
there were a couple of times.
There were?
Yeah, well, you
Did I
didn't,
text you right back?
no, not at all.
I ignored you?
You did.
Point them out to me.
I will, I will. I don't think you ignored me deliberately. I think you were just busy, you were busy doing something.
I am kind of a busy guy.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm sure you are busy, and I'm glad you are. I'm busy too. So, okay. Is that it? I do have other announcements, and I totally forgot about them. So, let me just do these real quick. I apologize, folks. The meeting got a little spirited tonight, which is fine. That happens from time to time, but we all respect one another. It's all good. We all move on from this, and we're all going to work for the betterment of the community.
You have the town cleanup.
What's that?
You have the town cleanup coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we have the town cleanup. Okay. So the town board voting meeting and work session scheduled for April 12th. That's,
21st?
Next Wednesday? Yeah, at the Carmel Firehouse? Okay, we can't have it there.
Goes to the,
Yeah, somebody's got, so they reversed the numbers here. So April 21st, there was a meeting scheduled at the Carmel Firehouse. It's moved back to the Carmel Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue for the 21st. There's a logistical issue with the Carmel Fire Department, and we can't have it up there. So that meeting was scheduled for up there. It's now going to be here, next Wednesday on the 21st.
when will we reschedule it?
Excuse me?
When will we
When the
reschedule it?
logistical issues are corrected,
Okay.
resolved. There's an issue up at the firehouse that we just couldn't use it on the 21st. So we're working to correct those issues.
Or find an alternate location,
Yeah.
if possible?
Townwide litter cleanup, it's going to be 2 weeks this year, starting on Monday, April 19th, and it's going to run through Sunday, May 2nd. Supplies are available at the town hall. Just call my office ahead of time at 628-1470 for orange contractor bags, vests, and pickers, which are the litter grabbers. We just got about 25 new ones in, so everybody, whoever's going to participate in the cleanup, please call my office, and we'll schedule garbage bags, vests, and pickers for you to use for your cleanup. Just let us know what streets you're going to be cleaning up. This way the highway department can pick up the orange contractor bags when they're filled, leave them on the side of the road, and if they knew where to pick them up. So that's why it's important that you give us the name of the street that you're going to be working at. So that's that. The Carmel Police Department is going to be doing another Shed the Meds, and that's going to be on May 1st, 2021 at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. here at Carmel Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue. The event will be held rain or shine outside of the town hall and supervised by the Town of Carmel Police Department with proper social distancing and masks in place. Drop off any expired or unwanted medication will be collected and safely disposed of by officers from the Carmel PD. Disposing of medication improperly, such as flushing it down the toilet or pouring it down the drain, can lead to pollution in the water we drink. Safe disposal helps protect our health and keeps prescription drugs away from young children and others who might use them improperly. Instructions: bring your medications in a clear plastic bag. Acceptable items are prescription meds, prescription patches, prescription ointments, over-the-counter medications, vitamins, vitamins, samples, and medications for pets. Items not accepted: needles, medication for businesses or clinics, thermometers, hydrogen peroxide, inhalers, aerosol cans, ointments, lotions, or liquids. Again, Shed the Meds, hosted by the Carmel Police Department, will be May 1st, 2021, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Carmel Town Hall. Putnam County Department of Health is having a household hazardous waste drop-off day, and that's on May 1st also. It's from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Fallstock State Park, Canopus Beach parking lot, Route 301 in Kent, New York. So if you have any hazardous waste that you've been collecting at home and you want to dispose of it properly, bring it to the Fallstock State Park off Route 301 in Kent on May 1st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that's the announcements that I have, and if we're all finished with announcements, and I think we are, Frank?
Well, no, actually, I just want to thank the 2 volunteers that worked with us Saturday morning for the litter cleanup, Jim Rathschmidt and Kevin McConville. We did a litter cleanup on the corner of Route 6 and Mount Hope Road. And then we also traveled around town and picked up some other garbage that was on the side of the road. Kenny and I did.
A toilet bowl that somebody discarded on Croton Falls Road, and a stove that Aaron reported on Rock Mill Road, Aaron? Yeah, we picked that up. Did you get my message that we picked it up? Okay, great. So we took it. Is that it? Is that it?
Well, I'm hoping that we don't have to travel the town roads to see that people are dumping ovens
No,
and
no,
toilet
Aaron.
bowls on the side of the road.
That, Aaron, that's not a private road.
Well, they weren't good anymore.
That's a town road. Rock Mill Road's a town road. It's one of the only dirt roads that we have in town, but it,
I think the town attorney's needed on a Zoom arraignment or something.
okay, so we're going to be here. Do you have one, Greg? All right, we're going to be here next Wednesday, April 21st, for town board voting meeting / work session. I need a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting?
So moved by Councilman Shannell, made by Shannell, seconded by Councilwoman. All those in favor? Aye. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Be well. We'll see you next week.